I'm Nikki Czek and this is Rob Cupello, and we are going to talk about a really neat grassroots initiative called Best of Kelowna, and we're going to take a peek at 4 or 5 businesses and tell you how they got nominated or voted the best. For those of you that may or may not know about the Best of, it is a program that allows the locals to vote for their favorite businesses, and it's not a popularity contest. You only get to vote once, and so the winners are the winners.
So the first business we're going to talk about today is Bird Brewing. So I'm not sure, have you ever,
I love beer.
ever been there?
Yes.
It's awesome. It's such a cool, fun place.
It is. It is a really neat atmosphere. Excellent place to get together and have a few beers, and fairly new in the business scene in Kelowna.
Right.
I mean, they haven't been, I think 4 years,
Maybe,
5
yeah.
years.
And they've done a big expansion. And
Huge.
Yeah, it's really neat there. So what makes them the best? If you've gone there, for sure, there's a really unique brand experience, I think. It really caters to the market that they're catering to very well. For any good business, they also have really good beer and really good pizza. So you need to deliver on your brand promise to be the best as well, and they do a good job on that as well. But they also have, I think, just really good brand execution, like their Facebook channel, the Instagram channel. They're consistent, and you know who they are.
And I know they're very active in the community. And when you talk about a program like the Best of Kelowna that wants to have community to participate in, they are often hosting events. They'll close the venue and they'll host events there. They've got really neat wearables or swag that you can purchase. So they really tick off all the check boxes on bringing a brand to life in the community. So they won gold, best music venue, and they won silver, best breweries. So one of the importance of matching an experience to, or the brand to, the target market is that you're ensuring that you're drawing the type of customer that matches the widget or the product or the service that you're offering. So what they come out and say they are in brand and branding is what you experience when you come to the location.
Well, and they have we say important to have a good web presence. They have a really good website, good content. It's fun, engaging and stuff as well. And when we were looking at these earlier, I said, you see a common denominator of all of them. They have a lot of really good Google reviews as well. So I know we want to chat a little bit about that because it's not necessarily an indication of why they won Best of, but I think it's an indication of they're doing something right.
It's a validation. Right.
Right.
So again, when we first launched the Best of Kelowna program, there weren't review software systems.
Right.
So it does make sense that a lot of these winners, or most of these winners, have incredible reviews because it is validation that they are and deliver what they say they're going to deliver. So next one we'll take a look at is the Hotel El Dorado, and I mean the El Dorado is a staple in the community. They've been in the community for decades. They are consistent in taking home awards. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 5. So the awards Hotel El Dorado would have taken are gold in best patio, gold in best hotel, and bronze in best wedding venue. So very consistent in the awards that they get. And again, their website's strong, very active in social media. They market. We can see their ads that they're running, and again, enormous amount of reviews with a significant amount, over almost 1,300 reviews, and the majority of them 5- and 4-star reviews. So we do feel that if you, as a business, want to have reviews and get reviews and make sure that you're pacing or staying ahead of your competitors in your reviews, you have to have a strategy. And it's just if this, then that. If someone comes up to my counter, they buy something, then the cashier or the store clerk needs to ask them if they'll give a review. So,
and I think back to you're saying they've been in the community for a long time. So, but again, there's a consistency, you know what to expect, and they deliver on it. So I think that's why you see, over 1,200 reviews, is because obviously they're doing something right. You're not going to get that many reviews. So, and they, we said that they spend. So sometimes if you want to be that leader in the market, you need to spend marketing dollars to get there as well. Specifically when it comes to a client like Hotel Dorado, it's really important for them to have really strong profile on places like TripAdvisor, because when you're booking, typically you're going to end up on those type of sites, Expedia, TripAdvisor. So I think consumers are going to look at the reviews, what people have said about it, and before they're making their buying decision. So it's really important to give emphasis to the ones that are important to your vertical. So obviously TripAdvisor is important to Hotel Dorado. There might be other ones that are important to your business, but I think when it comes specific to accommodations, things like TripAdvisor, Expedia are really important to make sure you have a proper profile in place and reviews in place.
Nothing becomes unless there is an intention to have it so, to make it so. Yes, you will get some reviews, but when you take a look at your accommodation sector and industry, it is a very, very competitive sector and industry. So you can sit back on the sidelines and you can just let people give reviews in other sites, or you can actually have a process and system in place. And we are geeks or wonks for processes and systems.
Or in a simple with in a hotel situation is that when the booking's done, an email goes out. Nikki, thank you for staying with us. Please click here to leave a review. I think that could be as simple as most businesses implement. If you have a database, just to ask. Because most times you won't get it unless you ask. So the next business we're talking about is Laurel Packing House. They won gold for best wedding venue. It's an amazing venue.
Amazing venue.
Historic, great location for sure. I think people like being downtown. Again, lots of positive reviews. But I think they're very involved in, you see their name a lot coming up in blogs. Part of it, I'm sure, is luck. Someone comes across and writes about it, but a lot of it is just a strategic way to get into those guides and blogs and so forth. And part of it is having a proper content strategy of knowing what makes you different, what am I going to write about, what's relevant in my audience, right? So if, one of the things we see that people often mention wedding and buildings and beautiful and history and wine, whatever. So if you know that what people are searching for, then you can write content around that as well. Or you can invite people for them. They could invite influencers or writers into their building to actually write about it as well. But I think part of it, there needs to be intent. Like some of it will happen organically, but I think if you just wait for it to happen organically, then you're at someone else's mercy. So the ability to actually have intention and be able to know what your audience is looking for, and writing blogs, put it in social media properly, will then steamroll or snowball into more of this stuff being done. So they're using it, they can use a little bit of a different tactic. So it's not like you're necessarily going to find them advertising everywhere, but only to the verticals that are important to them. The wedding industry, photographers, people getting events. Yeah. That makes sense because that's the space they're playing in. One thing that I would say with them is they know who their audience is. So you don't necessarily, I might not see an ad for them because I'm not the person they're talking to, but if you're an event planner, I bet you know about the Laurel Packing House.
It's not a for-profit. I believe the Laurel Packing House is owned by the city.
Right.
It isn't something that has a marketing manager behind it trying to push those revenues. It is a big part of our community and just naturally gets booked. Bright Jenny is the next one we're going to take a look at, and I do find this company very interesting because I don't know when they became, but they just arrived.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because I think, although I haven't researched this, I think one of Bright Jenny's strategies was to ensure they had their coffee being distributed or served at a number of places, of locations. So again, I know they're at QB Gelato. I believe I've seen Bright Jenny at Donna Ray's. And so they've got their product in a lot of locals.
Right.
So I think that's been integral or important to their brand awareness campaign. They came in gold in Best Independent Coffee Shop, and that would be a feat for them to accomplish that because we have been running Best of Kelowna for 8 or 9 or 10 years, and there were staple businesses in there. So your Bean Scenes, your Pulp Fiction. So there were some independent coffee shops that kind of were the bulls in the pasture.
Yeah.
So very neat that Bright Jenny came in and took that spot. And again, you attribute the well laid out website, you attribute the reviews, the activity in social.
They're an interesting brand because back to what you were saying, I think it felt like they came out of nowhere, but I think that was part of that creating that Seth Godin uses your tribe, like the people that are really like big believers in your brand. And I think organically they did that. Like a lot of people didn't know about them when they launched, but it was okay. But the people that knew, and then I learned about them because someone told me, like, because I like coffee, like, you need to go try this coffee. So it almost like organically happened, but they did it. I think there was intention. Like it's because they created their real tribe, and then it kind of grew from that. But they do a good job. I think they have a really cool brand, like a name like Bright Jenny. It's kind of a neat, and I don't know the story behind it. It'd be interesting to learn how they came up with that name, if it's someone in their family or a child or whatever it may be. But they do a good job with their website. They have really cool, I think you mentioned when we were talking about Red Bird, is that they have really neat apparel that you can buy as well. They're a really cool brand, so you see them out there. I think there's a really important factor we talked about where Bright Jenny being, they've jumped into Reels, which is it's on Instagram, which is some businesses locally sometimes don't jump into these. I want to say, but it's definitely not a fad. But there's TikTok and Snapchat, and there's always something new. For me, it's like, this is their audience. Like this aligns really well who they're trying to be, their brand and their audience. Maybe Instagram's Reels is not for everybody. TikTok's not for everybody, but this is a true fit for them. It makes sense. There's a lot of new things that come along. And I think what we've done really well, we always encourage our clients, is that we're okay testing it, right? Yep. So we've tried things and we're like, we don't see the return on it. So, and sometimes as a business, you need to do that. You need to just try. You need to go out and put some money towards, and let's try this platform and see if it's going to work for you. You don't know unless you try it. And they've done a really good job jumping into Reels and doing that. So
QB Gelato's the last company that we're going to take a look at in this little batch of clients. Best gelato, 5 years running. You don't do that by accident. No. The experience at QB Gelato, the training that they had in making gelato. So you go from the store, the online site, into their loyalty program, into their location, into this incredible kitchen that they run really neat teaching and classes and tours through. It's a very unique experience, and certainly very deserving. And again, they're very active in newsletter communication, actually, and they're very sensitive to natural rhythms in the season. They very much use the tools and the systems that they have to get customers into their store and purchasing online. And
I love their brand, and you walk in and you have a great experience, but they've evolved too. So they've introduced pizza, they've introduced bakings, they have bread, and they make their own peanut butter. Like, there's all this stuff that they've evolved.
They have the Jenny coffee.
So they make, like, they have their coffee, and they make, for everyone knows what an affogato is. So it's espresso with a scoop of gelato in it, which is absolutely amazing.
Heavenly.
But they've evolved their brand to meet the needs of the area and the community, which is really, they don't stay static, which is really important to them as well. Businesses
overlook.
Yeah, I think they put a lot of emphasis. I always say they want to get the new client, but they don't always give emphasis to the existing clients. And it's all businesses, or most businesses will do this, to be honest. So, when you could build a loyalty program, if you're a customer, you're probably easier to get you to go buy your gelato there because you've already been there. And I think it's so important I get the newsletters, and they do such a great job of that in order to create that loyalty program and create that newsletter environment to get you back there.
And the loyalty programs will bring you in to utilize those 25 licks to buy something, and I guarantee you leave with a lot more than what those loyalty.
Bit more.
Sure.
Yeah, you want to chase the free one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that. You need to don't have to tackle everything, just do it well. right? So back to like even a Bright Jenny who did it organically, I would say rather than having to go spend a bunch of money in the market, just made really good coffee, delivered really good service, developed a new brand, and then grew from there. So just, you don't have to tackle everything at once, but just do it well and make sure that it's authentic and you're delivering on your brand promise.